Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show tonight is my mucker Southside and the legend. Yes, the legend that is the Bridge. How we doing, Bridgeman, Southside?
Oh, absolutely brilliant, pal. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. And yourself, I hope you're good. I really do hope you're good. And you and Southside. And can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and new Rangers fans here on Rangers Radio, every single one is, please, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Southside, how we doing, mucker?
Aye, good, mate. Good evening to yourself and the Bridgeman. Aye, mate. Good, mate. Apart from that snow, it's been no bad, isn't it? So looking forward to the night, pal.
What snow?
I know you'll no see it. Plenty up here, especially in the south side.
Well, as long as it's not up to your windy bridge in the penthouse, we're all right.
Absolutely, pal. As I say, it looked as if it stopped snowing this afternoon, going into the evening, but I'm going for my injection tomorrow, so it better be ready, otherwise I'll be out there in the morning.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay. You went for your injection. That means you need to take a day off the darts and stop going for it.
A day off the darts, aye.
Yeah.
Very good.
You don't know where to have a game of snooker tomorrow with your sore arm or darts. Go for a 147 or a 180. It's up to you, mate.
I've spoke to a couple of guys and they said never had any problems with the Jag, because I'm very dead scared of needles, and the guy said, "Nah, it's all right, it's okay." And then he said to me this morning, or yesterday when I saw him, he said, "My goodness, my arm's pretty sore now," but he's probably okay now.
Just you spin when you get that door, you turn the 180 and get up to that doctors and get it done, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only a little prick.
Hey! Shocker. Shocker!
What?
That's an insult to me. That's an insult to me.
You know my point, Southside.
I know. I don't say it to the Southside. He doesn't like it either.
You must be, Bridge, you must get the flu jab all the time. So
I get it all the time. Yeah.
I just think that's what it is. Well, it is a bit, isn't it?
When I'm looking at the telly and the news and you see these people in the hospital and they bring out this vaccine, the needles are they look to me a bit 2 feet long. Obviously they're not, but they just look to me like that, you know. So it kind of frightens me a wee bit. But I'll do it. I'm a very brave boy, really, you know. Very brave boy. I run away a lot. Sorry.
As I say, don't you turn 180 tomorrow. You get out of that bed and go and get it done, bro.
Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry. Yeah. She'll not let me lie in, I'll tell you.
Anyway, Southside, we've not heard from you for the weekend. Somebody's phone. Turn it off, please.
Oops. Sorry about that.
We've not heard about you for the weekend, mate. Give us your thoughts briefly, mate.
Well, I'd say it's probably our worst league performance of the season, mate, to be honest. Pretty poor watch. Probably not acceptable, to be honest, getting this far in the league. You nail it. But it's one of the performances. The way I looked at it, I was a bit peeved off at the end of it. But I've sort of thought about it in the long run, mate. And it is probably our worst league performance. I mean, the changes he made, I didn't think it made a great deal of difference, to be honest. The team looked pretty good at the start. We all wanted to see Zungu back and maybe come in the team and maybe see what he could do, and also Witten getting his chance up front. I think apart from that, he explained he gave Davis a rest and Jack probably just coming back for injury, maybe playing on that type of surface. He probably thought he could leave him out. But as it turned out, mate, we got away with one. But we got the point. You know, we probably should have seen the game out once we scored the goal, to be honest, with 10 minutes to go.
Aye, we were in the driving seat then.
Aye, we were 1-0 up. We were going to mug them that day and go away with 3 points, but as it turned out, we didn't. Probably in reflection, they possibly got what they deserved, a point out the game, at least, because if it wasn't for McGregor, we could have been a few down. But, mate, it was just one of the days, and I just put it down to, we'll be looking for a better performance come this weekend, if I'm honest.
I hope so, mate. I wouldn't like to watch that again. It was poor. It was poor fare, let's say. That's all we can say, mate. Bad day at the office. I think was you used Southside, yeah?
Aye, I did, mate. It was one of the days at the office. It was poor, and we'll just need to move on, mate. End of the day, the game's done now. We'll just got to look forward to the weekend. You get the reaction. It'll be similar probably to what we done when we played Motherwell. We wanted a reaction the following week, and it was Ross County, and we got it. So I'd like to think we'll get a reaction against St Johnstone, mate.
All right, mate. And I believe you've been busy in the old Rangers radio front, mate. Is that right?
Aye, mate. I got a wee text from somebody, a very generous person out there. His name's Keith, but he goes AKA Taff. I spoke to him, mate, and he put a donation forward, and we accepted it, and a young lad got a Rangers jersey. So it was greatly received and faithfully applied, mate, in the time, and the wee boy was delighted. So for that gentleman out there, he knows who I'm talking about. It was very much appreciated, mate, and your generosity.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done. Well done.
It was Bridgeman. Yeah. I've also spoke to him on Ox since then.
All right. You've got a fan, have you?
The boy,
you've got a fan.
The gentleman's lovely, mate, and we've had a gab about the Rangers, just like we do on here. So, he's as passionate as us, and he listens to the show. So, I'd just like to say again a huge thank you to him, because it was very great what he done, mate. It was greatly appreciated.
Brilliant. That's what Rangers Radio is all about, Bridgeman, isn't it?
Indeed it is, pal. Indeed it is. Aye, we're out there and we're talking about the club and we're supporting it all the way, because that's what we're like. We thoroughly enjoy being a Ranger.
Aye, and then obviously it's great that people are doing that for people maybe in a less fortunate position than themselves. Once you start getting your millions away, it should be we'll all be in. We'll all be going down Southside.
What a shocker.
I'm hearing whispers, mate, that he's left me and you 2 bitcoins each Southside.
Southside's done it.
Oh, that's no bad if he's leaving the odd Bitcoin. I heard they're moving up in value now, isn't they?
Aye, two Bitcoins each. And I believe he's left Fox about 180. You know, Fox is a man.
He's a man.
I wouldn't bow your head, you.
Listen, Bridgeman, when something does happen to you, mate, I'll be too struck down. I'll be too grief-stricken to worry about counting your money.
I know, pal. I know.
But I'll get myself out of Switzerland to make sure it's all right.
I just love that. I just love that, pal.
Right, where are we? Okay, right. Okay, so we've got to look at this in context, Bridgeman. We've lost 9 games this season in the league. 9 games, yeah? We've drew 4 now. I'm just going to give you a wee stat. Okay, the last time we won the league, Bridgeman, at this time, where do you think we won in the league? How many games do you think we've won or lost? Have a guess, Bridge.
How many games have we won? Probably about 75.
No, when we were playing in the league, yeah?
Yeah.
We'd won 75 games.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 75, yeah.
We'd only played 22 so far in the league.
I don't follow the gist of the pro. I thought you meaning when we won the league. How many points did we win by?
Sorry, how many games had we played?
Apologies.
I didn't put that. It wasn't clear, mate. I'm not going to blame you for that, mate. Right, at this time...
So how many games had we played when we won the league?
At this time, 10 years ago, we were going on a campaign at Winners the League. We'd played 22 games.
Right.
What do you think my stats were? Have a guess.
Oh, my God. Played 22 games. 119.
Mm-hmm.
Lost 2. And drew 1.
Right. 117, drew 2, and lost 3.
Wow. That's some stats, by the way. That's well gathered.
We'd only scored 47 goals, Southside, and conceded 20.
Some stat, isn't it? When you look at it that way, it's quite a lot of goals to have lost up until the games, 20 goals.
Well, it is when you consider we've lost 8 so far in only 6 more games. Yeah.
Aye, mate. Aye. So it's it just shows you that was mid-February then. At this time, was it? Going for the league.
To this day, yeah. To this day. And by the way, see the league. Apart from if you swap the 2 Highland League clubs, the league teams in it. Hearts were in it. Sorry, forget I said that.
I think Hearts maybe finished third that season.
Hearts with Livingston. You swap Hearts with Livingston and swap the 2 Inverness clubs, yeah? And that season in Europe, we were in the Champions League with Man United, Valencia and Borispor, and we ended up with 6 points and qualified for the Europa League, yeah?
Well, that was brilliant. That was a great, brilliant, just brilliant.
Aye, Man United, that's right. Who did we get? Was that Sporting Lisbon in the Europa?
We got
Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon, yes, and then we went on to play PSV, mate.
PSV, aye. Why not? Why nothing? Won it? One of the games.
Aye. You know, so it puts into context. The reason I've dug that out, Southside, is how well we're doing this year in reality. We've dropped 8 points. Yeah, we dropped 13.
Aye.
A lot in 6 less games at the same time, yeah.
Right, aye. And we still went on and won the league that year as well. But aye, for this year, like we said, disappointed on the Hamilton, mate. But we're still undefeated, and we're looking at it when you think back to. I know it was going back to the last time we won the league, but the sort of comparison that we're still in Europe as well, and we were still in Europe then. So, aye. Mate, it's for the goals we've scored and the goals we've conceded at the moment compared to then, it's night and day, innit?
And by the way, in the next 6 games, which takes us up to the same total as we are now, this puts into perspective, we lost to them, forgetting about cup games and European games, just league games, the next 6 league games, we lost to them, and we lost to them. Yeah, that's what we've done. We lost to them 3-0. Then we won at St Johnstone, won at St Mirren. Yeah, so we lost another game in the 6th game. So that's 6 games. It just shows you how good our form is, mate. Yeah, Bridge.
Aye, you're consistent. Aye, definitely, mate. Consistent.
Absolutely.
Like I say. On you go, Bridge.
No, you carry on, pal. Carry on.
Aye, just like we were saying, mate, it's a consistency this season. But the fact that we've not lost a game as well, but it's the consistency levels of how we've been playing. And even, like you said, we've not played well in certain games. We've not played well for the last wee while, but we've still won games, and we've drew the couple other ones. So, aye, mate, when you look at it like that, and then you're looking at the defeats we've had at that time 9 years ago, mate, it's night and day, like I said, night and day.
It's 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, mate. No, aye.
Aye, sorry, 10 years ago, mate.
Aye. Mm-hmm. All right, for it.
But when you look at what we've done, how well we've done in the last 10 years, not necessarily year on year because we had the downsizing, but since then we've came all the way up through the leagues and did very well. And look where we are now, Mammy. Just look where we are now, and that's just wonderful. And hats off to everybody involved in the club at board level, right down to training. Brilliant, just excellent. I thought I wanted to get that in.
Aye, well, you're quite right. But just go back to that last league winning campaign. I think it puts into perspective, really does. I was shocked how good our actual form is. Southside, when I started looking at it, I was shocked.
Aye, mate, aye. It's... I mean, we'll put it this way, if you look throughout the whole League of Europe now, I think we're probably the only team that's possibly now undefeated. I think I might be wrong, but I think maybe Benfica somewhat up until last weekend hadn't been beat or something. But aye, and it just, I mean, back then, obviously, you could lose a few games. I think there was a couple of games in there, if my memory serves me right. I think we drew a couple of times to you. Inverness Cali that season was a jinx for us. I think we had a couple of draws, and I think we won 1-0 that season. And I know the Tardellis, they battered us 3-0, like you said, and I think they beat us 2-0 as well. We'd done them 3-1, I think, in the very first game that season. I think we were 8 games undefeated, maybe, I think, up to then. But there was a few dodgy results in there, mate. We lost a few games. I think we lost maybe 4 or 5 games that season and a few.
Carry on, mate. Carry on.
I think, like I said, there was a few draws in there as well. So I think there was maybe 4 or 5 defeats and probably 3 or 4 draws. So on that campaign, mate, like we're saying up to then, and what we're looking at now, well, we're 21 points clear 10 years later, and we're looking at the progress of the team. I mean, probably if you looked at some of that squad, mate, there'll be a few ones in there that maybe a few people might not remember, but obviously we'll remember the Lafferty, Naismith and Jelavic, because they were the 3. I think it was up front that day.
Mm-hmm. I'll look at the squad, the nearest date, which was a Scottish Cup tie on the 6th of the 2nd. I think the young boy Jamie Ness scored the 2 each draw, yeah, when Diouf and Brown had a bit of coming together, you know.
By the way, what a goal that boy scored, what a goal.
What a player he looked at all, mate. What a player. It'll come up in a second, mate. Can I just say the wee file with a strip, it's been posted on Facebook for anybody to see it. It's a brilliant picture. We've had some great comments already. We just want to say thanks to all involved, thanks to Taff again. That's what Rangers Radio's all about. Not for profit, and helping supporters out when we can, and getting money to the club through doing that. Brilliant to all concerned. And thanks to Southside for making it happen, mate. Okay, I've got the Rangers team that day. Oof.
Well, go for it.
Right, okay, I'll give you it quick. McGregor, Weir, Papach, Whittaker, Bigera, Edu, Davis, Ness, Naismith, Diouf, Jelavic, subs, Lafferty and Weiss. Stephen Naismith was sent out for 2 yellow cards after 76 minutes. Goals by Jamie Ness. And who got the second? Anybody want to take a guess?
Lafferty.
No.
Who was the game against? Who was the game?
Against them.
Oh, it was against them. I'm thinking it was against Kilmarnock, sorry.
Oh, the one at Ibrox.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he scored the rasper, didn't he? Naismith.
No, Jimmy Ness got the rasper, and the penalty was scored by Stephen Whittaker. There you go. Right. Wouldn't have got that.
I think Stephen Whittaker was a very good player for us. Very good. He wasn't the most popular person in the whole world, but he played very well for us.
Well,
I don't think he was disliked. It was the way he conducted himself when he left the club.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. Just on the football, I thought he played very well for us. And then his game, like his career, started to go south, and that was all there was to it. Due to the problems, like, you know.
I think it only cost us a couple of £1 million when we bought him. So, if you look at that, for the service he gave to the club, and scored a cracking goal that night away in Sporting Lisbon, didn't he? 4-1 game. But he done us a turn, Stephen Whittaker, all the time. It was just a pity him and Naismith would win.
Say that again.
What?
He scored a cracking goal. What was the score?
3-1.
2-0.
Aggregate I'm talking about.
All right, thank you.
Get it right, Oxford. Get it right. What was the game then? About 10 years ago, against Rangers versus Kilmarnock versus Rangers.
That was the last game of the season, mate. The 5-1 game. Yeah.
I had to work. We were doing a huge upgrade to our systems, and I had to work. Being a senior technician, you know. I was sitting in there with a radio.
Just for the record, it was double time for a Sunday.
I know, but it was absolutely marvellous. The atmosphere was brilliant because I created it. Because half the people in the department were Tim's. I'm saying, that's another one. They were raging. I love it.
Right, okay, suppose we better get us phone lines. We can't talk all night outside there. What's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. We were brought into the call by Fox and Old School Blue. If you phone in, hang up and we will phone you back. How simple is that, Southside?
Simple, just follow the instructions and it's easy as that.
Easy as that. Okay, aye. It just shows you, we trip down memory lane, shows you how good our form is, mate, and that team went on. Where people would talk about maybe a legendary defence, mate, and they'd lost 20 goals in 22 matches. This defence has lost 8 goals in 28 matches.
Aye, mate. Well, you're talking about then, back then, but Davy Weir, Magic Bagheera, Papach, probably Whittaker.
Aye.
It's probably your mainstay, wasn't it?
Broadfoot as well.
They've been in the squad then, aye.
I have to admit, I was never a fan of Broadfoot, but he did some marvellous stuff with us. Scored some delicate goals we really needed. And, you know, I see when he plays against us with Kilmarnock or whatever he's playing with, I hate it. I don't like the guy at all. But when he's with Rangers, I had to give him my support, you know.
That was actually the year Jelavic does the overhead kick at Aberdeen, didn't he?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Stood up and done the bicycle kick. That was a feature goal, actually.
Hello.
Oh, how we doing, Thomas? All right, mate?
How you doing? How you doing, guys?
Hi, Thomas.
Good to hear
How
from you.
you doing? All right?
Okay, bud.
What's on your mind, Thomas?
I've got a couple. I've got a couple of things.
Right,
Right.
go on
See, right. See, I think Jared took on the club about 3 years in April or something, isn't it? Is it?
I officially introduced to us in May.
May.
Was it May? Right.
Signed on in May.
Right. And I don't know, you probably did, and they used to always say, oh, we're about 20 years behind Dave, and we're, oh God, we'll need this and we'll need that before. That guy's done absolutely wonders in this 3. If you think about it, if he'd have thought when he started 3 years later, we'd be in a situation, you know, we'd have put the one after this for what we've done and what we're doing. You know.
The last time I seen something do so well in a company was Bridge get involved with Microsoft with Bill Gates.
Microsoft and Bill Gates, by the
way. We take a Zungu in Sunday.
Okay.
Is that a question, Thomas? Is that a question?
Aye.
Okay. Southside, mate. We'll take that Southside.
Thomas, I'll be honest, mate. I thought he'd done what was asked of him. I thought he played the simple passes and sort of. If you look at the other two midfielders we had, with Aribo and Kamara, now their season for us, they were virtually non-existent in the game. I mean, Zungu obviously. I would like, don't get me wrong, mate. We're sitting here, we'd all have loved a better performance for them all. But if you're we were talking about Zungu, so obviously we'd have been looking for a bit more. But I'll be honest, mate, I thought he passed the ball and he done what was sort of asked. I think the whole team didn't have the urgency and weren't on it. And I think...
Do you think he's quick enough? Do you think he's...
I'm still being convinced if he's actually that holding sort of midfield player that he's playing in the new. You know, and I don't know, mate, to be honest, because I've only seen probably bits, clips and stuff, and I've listened to other people that seemingly knew him that have said things about him. So I can only go with that. So he's not really, it's hard to judge him because it was that game and then that performance that led to that game. And the other game he's been in was St Mirren when we made changes again and it didn't work out well for us. So I think people are quite on him. Being honest, in hindsight, Davis and Jack made the difference when they come on, obviously, right? We know that. So I just think it was one of the games, mate. He could be an easy target to pick out. I'd like to see Merriam get involved to see if he has got anything, you know.
Do you think we just took it maybe just a wee bit too easy because we thought obviously it was only Hamilton, which we shouldn't have done.
I think, players are only natural. They're human like the rest of us, right? That probably time to time they might think, aye, there could have been a wee element that's Hamilton. But I still just think it's hard for all the players not to turn up on the one day. Apart from Alan McGregor. People will probably... I'd say to you, what about Itten? Do you know, I think Itten done no bad, considering up front, he done quite well, held the ball, linked to play. Yeah. We never created anything, mate, in the whole game. We didn't give our strikers really anything to have a shot at goal.
That's how I couldn't judge him. That's how exactly I couldn't done to say, he was brilliant. He just didn't get service.
He had to work off scraps. He had to try and link the play. I thought he held the ball in at times and linked it. So they're the two that a lot of people are going to go on it because they've come into the team. Aribo was playing too deep for me. I don't like him playing that deep. He's not effective in the game at all.
I just think the midfield one of theirs. The midfielder. It was flat. I don't know if I can use it flat. I just think...
Wasn't a lot of urgency, mate, was there? We didn't look as if we were chasing them and right on it. I agree with you. I just think you just look at the performance in it. I'll be honest, I think it's the worst league performance we've had this season, and we got a draw. So we don't see at the end of the season, mate, we win this league. Nobody will be worried about that game at Hamilton.
We'll forget. That is forgotten about. Do you know what I mean? All the kind of games are forgotten about after we get the 55. But
the big picture for me is the team can't play brilliant every single week. It's an impossibility. You can't. You're going to have dips. You have dips in the season for them. A year ago, 2 years ago, we'd have got beaten the games or we'd have dropped more points. We wouldn't have even been sitting where we are now. So we look at the progress that Stevie G's made in the team. The way he's built it, he's got a winning mentality. These players are learning to win every week. They're having to wear that big badge that comes with playing with Glasgow Rangers. They get pressure because they know they can't go 2 or 3 games. You can't get a win or a defeat. Some of them are learning. Like we've got young boys, Hadji, Aribo, Kent even playing under this pressure. Alfie's done it for a few years now. But now we're at the winning stage. We're nearly at the finishing line. So... there's pressure on them, mate, but I just think there's nothing to worry about in the grand scheme of things,
I'm not worried.
What's your views, Thomas?
To the team, or...
You're in question. What are you thinking? Why did you ask that about Zunga, and why did you ask...
But I was... Right, I've been always on the fence with Zunga, and I think I'm still there. I think I'm still on the fence with Zunga. I just don't think he's got... I don't think he's got the Rangers mentality. He's still got that. He's still got... I don't think he keeps up with the pace in Scottish football, right? That's one thing. And maybe he's got to maybe give a chance. I'm no... he's wearing that Rangers jersey. I'm pretty happy with that. But the game's a bit fast, I think, for him to know.
Have you got the telly, the show on in the background? We can hear it coming through, mate. If you don't mind.
Do you want me to turn it?
Turn it, mate.
Sorry, sorry, guys. Do you think that? Because I think he's...
I'm in the south side camp, and I'll go to Bridge in a second. I don't think he played well, but he had 5 out of 10. But I thought Kamara and Haribo were maybe 4s out of 10. I mean, that's the way I see it. I thought they were poor.
Kamara and Haribo were absolutely... I'm sorry, no. That's the worst I've seen them. Sorry.
Family show, boys.
Guys.
Family show.
Sorry. They're absolute crap.
I think they were very poor. I think they were very poor. I agree with
that. I really do. The only one I can pick out is McGregor. As a bonus to us, and okay, we played terrible, but we got a draw. And as that guy said last season, we did get beat then.
Put it in perspective, we've drawn 4 matches in the league all season, mate.
It's phenomenal. It's I tell you something. I didn't think this. I didn't think we'd be sitting here talking about this evening now and talking about 55. I was thinking, I'm dreading this 10 in a row, and I'm dreading this, and I'm dreading that.
There's no Terry Monroe, yeah?
Aye, Terry. Aye, that too, Terry. Aye, I know.
Right, let Bridgeman come in and give you his answer. Bridgeman, in you come, mate.
Yeah, I think that some of our players played very well, but not quite as good as they can. I think a lot of our players were way below form, and I include our best goal scorer in the country, insofar as our fullback is concerned, Tavernier. Very, very bad. He wasn't great at all. Neither was
he. He could have slackened, didn't he?
I think so, and I think our other fullback wasn't in the game at all until the substitutions were made, and then he came right into the game,
right.
And he got a beautiful ball in. That I still swear to this day that the goalkeeper got his hands to that ball and pushed it onto his own man's legs. It wasn't directly from our fullback. The goalkeeper made a save, and it ended up hitting their own player and going into the net. So there's a difference. To me, it's a difference. But
are you talking about the Hamilton goal?
Hamilton, yeah.
Aye, right, okay, right.
So I've got no complaints about the way Rangers are playing, other than against Hamilton. There were certain times during that game we really let ourselves down, and that's the truth. We should never, as a club, never, ever, ever allow ourselves to go toe-to-toe with a club like that who want to kick you off the park. Shouldn't do it, unless you've got big mountains. That's what I think.
Let's Bridge. I didn't think they were over physical. I think the part, and it's been proved it's a wee bit but it gives them. We've seen
an advantage.
Aye, in Scottish football, it's a wee bit of level.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for 0779.
Carry on. It gives them a wee bit of advantage, but we should have been better because we've won there often enough to be ready for the battle. I just think it was simple. We just never played well, and the other team upped their game, and they did play well. You've got to go with the right attitude for the get-go. Thomas?
You're right. They totally did. I don't like saying it, but they did have the right attitude for that game, and they fought for their life near enough, I would say. And they fought for us. I even think maybe they kind of edged it.
Aye,
if you're looking at the full game, I mean, they I don't like saying it, but I just think they edged it. So we were quite lucky.
But it's not about what you do now. You can't turn the clock back. You can only look forward, mate.
No, that's right. Yep.
Anyway, we've also been joined by Gary B. How are we doing, Gary?
I'm good, guys. How are we doing?
All right. What's on your mind, mate?
No, I'm just listening and just talking about the game, and we spoke about it yesterday. I don't. You kind of want to. You don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to dwell on it. Do you know what I mean? It's I don't think it's a massive issue for me. It's done in it. I think we were lucky to come away with a point. We should look on it as don't look on the game as a positive, but look on the result as a positive. The fact that we can play that bad and still come away with a point is a good thing.
Yep.
So that's it. Move on. Do you know what I mean?
Outside.
Aye, Gary's spot on, mate. That's what we were saying earlier, Gary. We were talking about the Kilmarnock 10 years ago when we're going for the league title, and that year we lost 5 games that season, and I think we drew 3.
Up until this time of the season, mate. No, the whole season up until now.
Oh right, up to then we lost. Aye. So it just shows you the strides that we've made this year with the league and the consistency level. I think that's what matters the most. I think that's what we've noticed more than anything. Consistency, and I think we all seem to lose the plot and get a wee bit upset when we drop 2 points or we don't play well. It's probably because we've been starting to look a bit. We've looked good this season, and obviously we've picked it on for the season before where we were doing well. And this season we've just kept the consistency levels up. And we've had a couple of minors, and especially Hamilton. I mean, they're both in the league. We're not kidding ourselves on. We should be beating them. And it is one of the parts, and it's a leveller. But 9 times out of 10, we go to Hamilton and we win. But this time we didn't. Our goalkeeper played well, and we got a point, and that's it. We just move on, and we move on to the weekend when the time comes.
Here's a stat for you, Gary. 3 out of 4 games we've lost have been 12 o'clock kickoffs on a Sunday.
Aye. People say that's a lot of rubbish, right? And I was watching, I watched the Blues Brothers podcast, and with Derek Ferguson and Durant on there. And Derek Ferguson says, I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you get up and you do your job. And I kind of get that, but, you know, see, some people just, like, if you prepare for a match, which everybody does, everybody has their routines and all that, right? So most players will have a pre-match meal, probably 3 hours before a game, and most people's pre-match meal will be pasta with high carbs, stuff like that. Who wants to eat pasta at 9 o'clock in the morning? Do you know what I mean? And it's fine for some people. But if you've got enough people in your squad who just don't fancy it, or it doesn't sit right with them, or it's not part of their preparation, or they don't enjoy it, well, it's going to affect the squad and that team. I'm not saying that's the reason. What I'm saying is it is, Bridge, but, you know, Ox has just said it there. 3 out of the 4 games that we've dropped points have been 12 o'clock kickoffs. So I don't think it's just maybe something that's there. That's you know, maybe Gerrard needs to look at it, or the players need to look at themselves. But it's there. It's there. I mean, when I coached kids football, I know we'll talk about elite men's football, but when I coached kids football, right, we used to have early morning kickoffs at 9 o'clock in the morning, right, and I knew the kids that I coached. See, it was a 9 o'clock kickoff. Forget it. They were going to be absolutely shocking, because the group of boys that I had were slow starters. They didn't like getting out of bed early morning. They much more preferred and played better when it was a 10, half 10 kick-off. That hour and a half difference made a massive difference. I know they're only kids, but it does make a difference to if you've got enough people in that squad or that starting 11 who just don't like it, consciously or subconsciously.
Can I ask a question on that point? Given the fact that basically ourselves and them across the city, we should be playing the same amount of games and the same amount of strange times. When was the last time we saw Celtic playing on a Sunday at 12 o'clock?
You're the man that watches them, Bridge. You tell me.
No, it's not watching them. I'm only saying, think of it. It's the stats. You're bringing out stats here. So what was the stats on the other side?
I'll check it for you. Just for you, yeah? You carry on.
I think, Bridge, you know, you're right, but I don't think it's. We've got to look after ourselves. I'm not big into the conspiracies. I'm getting there this season because of certain things that are happening. But you know, who football players are notoriously lazy. They start work at 10 o'clock, most of them. Do you know what I mean? So they're not getting out of bed. They're getting out of bed earlier for a 12 o'clock kick-off than what they would do to go into training. So and especially if it's an away game. So, and this COVID situation and all that as well. No, it's the same for both teams. I get that, but if you've got enough, as I say, if you've got enough players in your squad that affects and you don't like it, then it's going to be very, especially if it's subconscious.
It's just an unusual stats outside there.
I think that's just what it is, mate. Just an unusual stat. I mean, the professional football players have been playing. They know we play Sundays at 12 o'clock. I just put it down to a lot of them just had a bad day at the office on that type of part, and Hamilton's used to it. Still no excuses. We should be beating Hamilton, but I just put it down to a bad day. There was a lot of really bad performances that day, apart from our goalkeeper. A couple of wee flashes here and there, but I mean, at the end of the day, we had 2 shots on target. That sums up what's on the day, mate. So I just put it down to a bad day at the office.
Aye, and now we've got to put it behind us, Thomas. We've got to drive forward, mate.
We can't dwell on it, but we won't, because we'll forget about it. And we'll have to play with Kilmarnock. Was it Saturday?
Saturday.
And then
right.
Saturday. Yes, I mean,
3 o'clock.
And then they have to play them. We will beat them. I'm quite sure about and we'll forget about that. That'll be done and dusted, and then we're just looking at another, 4.5 games.
4 runs,
Aye. You know what I mean? So that's right. I'm looking at it. I'm just shouting down and going, right, I'm not interested in them. They can just go and do what they want. Oh, they seem like they're still world beaters, but it's what we do now. And it's yours to lose.
Yeah. Right, Bridgeman, people want to join us, give their thoughts, bring up anything Rangers related. What's the number?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. We were brought into the call by Fox and Old School Blue. If you phone in, hang up, we will phone you back. Simple as that. All right. We also go to watch Southside that we don't. Some of our new players, we bring them in. I mean, even on here, back a couple of seasons ago, I think myself, particularly, was maybe critical. I didn't think Borna was playing well, and then slowly but surely he got the grips of Scottish football. Maybe after he scored the goal against St Mirren. Oh, somebody got the show on.
Right. I mate,
somebody turned the show off. Carry on.
That sort of turned Borna around for us, didn't it? He sort of started to play better. It's like we're saying, we were talking a wee bit earlier about Zungu as well. Hadji, you still think there's a wee bit more in him, or you might think sometimes you give him the criticism he might deserve in that, because we all want him better. I date with Joe Aribo sometimes, mate. I know he's a fantastic player further up the field, but I get frustrated and watch him when he's too deep and he's not doing it in the game. But they're young players, and we're trying to make them better players, and I'm sure in time, if they're still at the club, they will get better. So that's all we sort of look at, and sometimes we can be a wee bit harsh on certain players, but it's because we want it to be better. We know we've seen it this season where we've been playing absolutely brilliant football. But like I say, you can't do that for a full season. So we've had a dip in form for the last wee while, but we're still undefeated. So these players are still going to be getting used. We'll probably have Arfield back in a couple of weeks' time, which will probably make a difference because he'll get game time as well. And we've got the boy Scott Wright in for Aberdeen, who might get extra game time and time as well. We're hoping Kent will pick up for him, maybe start adding to goals or assists. And obviously Roof's getting his fitness back, and we've got Alfie to come back. So, mate, we're in a right good place. We're just hoping the performances will get a bit better. That's what we're really looking for, you know.
But expectations are higher now, aren't they?
That's a good point, Thomas. That's good.
You know what I mean? What I'm sitting listening to, what was it, the guy, the boys that's on, and there's, if you think about it, the expectations are absolutely, it's brilliant and refreshing, would you say?
Aye. But what I'm saying is, we've got Zungus come into the team, and he hasn't played well. We've not seen much. You've neat and tidy in times we passed, and a couple of moves where he spun 180. You know, he's not really shown us a lot. Yeah, he came on against Hamilton when we beat him 8-0 and sprayed the ball, but Bridgeman could have done that in that game, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's not said a word.
Man could have played there on my own and beat Hamilton. On my own.
I was waiting for that. You've got to watch that somebody doesn't become a whipping boy, Gary.
No, I don't think anybody in that squad, mate. I even felt for players like Barker and stuff like that when they were getting it, because they come on and done a job for us at the start of the season when we were playing out of this world. And just because their face didn't fit, or they weren't world beaters, or they didn't live up to the legends of yesteryear, they were kind of getting it a wee bit, and I thought they don't deserve it because they're playing a part in the story of the season. And nobody really this season has put enough of a foot wrong. It gets it in the neck. You'll never see. You've got to remember, Zungu came into the squad. He had to get up to speed. He's moved to a foreign country. It's COVID. There's 100 different reasons, Ox, that he could be underperforming at the moment. it might just be that he's no Rangers quality, but you know what? We need to give him a chance, and that chance needs to be longer than you would normally get because of the situation. I think that, you know, we know that at a club like Rangers and the expectations placed on players, you don't get that long before you're binned, basically, because you haven't got a lot of time to develop and stuff like that. You've got to kind of hit the ground running, but I think we're in special times, special circumstances where players do need to be given a wee bit of time, and it's still early days with that boy. I think he's what I was going to say about players like Aribo. It winds me up. One of the things that winds me up is we don't have shots for distance. You know, when things open up, we just, it seems to be. I don't want to have a shot every time, but when it opens up, have a pop. That winds me up. But that's obviously something Gerrard and the coaching team said they don't want. That's a team and individuals been told not to do that, because you play for Gerrard and you playing his system. You play how he tells you, or you won't be in the team. And that's the same with Aribo. Aribo, when he goes on the pitch and his rope's too deep, that's because he's been told to drop deep and play there. And if he doesn't do what he's told, he won't be in the team. So he's got to play the system and do what he's asked for the team. So that's where you've got to look beyond the player and go, well, that's obviously something he's been asked today. And I think that's where Zungu's maybe struggling. He's probably.
But do you don't think it'd be worse if for him and I know I'm interrupting, for him and others, if there was fans there, if we were actually at the game,
might help him.
The pressure. I mean, I'm not saying it might. No, it might. I don't know. I know we're sitting talking about that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but I'm sitting thinking,
no,
but what about the fans? The fans there.
Don't worry about interrupting me. So sometimes you have to interrupt me. I'll just keep talking.
I'm sorry,
but I know. Don't worry about it.
Right, you know what I mean? The fans. I'm asking you about the fans. What about? And I know we're talking about Zungu and if there was fans there, and you know, and I know they would have gone on his back, and the same as any other player that maybe didn't powder soaks up. That's what your club are like, because our expectations are so high, and
the fans at Ibrox can be brutal.
Yeah, and totally.
The fans at Ibrox can be brutal. 20 minutes in, if you've not scored, the players on the pitch are going to
right, okay. Well,
that could be the making of somebody. Do you know what I mean?
You'll know the
it could be. Yeah.
We've been joined by young Darren. How are we doing, Darren?
Good evening. Ox, I just want to...
don't say a word, mate. Don't say a word. Just carry on.
I really think, obviously, listening to all the points, I certainly think that they should maybe drop Weekend. See if it gives them a kick up the back end.
I don't think you're alone in that thought, mate. He seems to be one of the golden children, but that's just the way it is. Southside?
I mean, Darren, he frustrates us, right? And probably 9 times out of 10, his form over the last while probably deserves to have been dropped in a game or two here or there. But he is an important player for us. He's got the pace. He runs in behind. Gerrard's got him doing a job, but I do believe his performances lately have been really patchy, mate. But I still think he's one of his favourites, and he'll persevere with him, maybe hoping his form will turn round. Scott Wright's in. Maybe next season, if Kent's ways and Wright gets his chance, things might change, mate. If Scott Wright shows any potential in the fitness level with a full pre-season with Rangers next season, then you don't know how it will work. Whether he sees him as a total wide player or playing inside, I don't know, mate. He's frustrating, mate, to be honest. He is frustrating, but I don't think he'll drop him the now going into these next 5-6 games. Might get dropped later on once the league's tied up. You might do that then, but I don't see him doing it until we're at the league up, mate, to be honest, unless he's got an injury.
Can you come, Bridgeman?
I'll have to agree there. There's some players will probably have to sit on the bench at least until they're split before they get another bite, because by then, hopefully, we'll win another 4 games or whatever it is we go to.
Did you hear the question about Kent?
Kent, I do apologise. No, I missed that one. So we're going to drop Kent. I heard Darren saying maybe think about dropping him. Personally speaking, no, I wouldn't drop him. But the guy, everybody's entitled to their opinion. There's a lot of folk like him that like Darren. If he doesn't like Kent,
wait a minute.
Right.
We'll be joined by Amanda. How are we doing, Amanda?
Good evening. How are we all? This is becoming a habit, isn't it? No, I think he'll persevere with Kent myself. I think he'll persevere with him because I think he's one of these players that he either hits the mark or he doesn't. He's either great or he's off the pace. But I think his form will turn around. I think Gerrard will stick it out for the remainder of the season. The title's tied up, and then he'll change his tactics a bit. But I think he'll stick out with Kent. I really do.
I do. I think Kent's one of his favourites, but I can't disagree with Darren. I can't say he's playing well because he's got into some great positions the last couple of weeks, and he's failed to hit the target.
Aye. I agree with that. I mean, he's getting there, but he's not hitting the target the way he should. I mean, the chances we missed on Sunday there for a start, we could have been 4 up at half time. But again, we won it, so we didn't take the chances. So you say to yourself, well, surely if a player of Kent's standard is getting to that level there, getting as far as he's getting, surely he must be hitting the target with some of them. But again, I'm not a professional footballer, so I can't say anything.
No, you can. Your opinion counts as much as anybody else's. Gary, in you come, mate?
I think Kent's a confidence player. I think he's. I think you can maybe say like one game to him and say I'm going to rest you, which has been dropped. But then it's timing it. So who do you drop him for? What game do you drop him for? Do you drop him for this game coming, Kilmarnock? I think we're up against it with Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock's got a
new manager.
Kilmarnock's got a new manager. New manager's come in. So they might have a wee bounce back, same as Motherwell did with us. So do you drop him for this game?
I know that's
so it's a hard one.
What do you drop him for? What game do you drop him for exactly? You know what I mean? Is it a case that he's going to persevere with him now to the title's wrapped up, or you know what I mean?
I think if he was going to get dropped, Amanda, he'd have been dropped for that game we just had.
I think so as well.
You look at the changes he made.
That's true.
If he was going to drop him, but there you go, because he's not been on it for a while.
I'm going to sign off because I just wanted to make my point about that. I said all I had to say last night, so I've run out of conversation. So I'll let you get more callers in.
Amanda, we think once you get out your shyness, you'll be good on here.
Listen, I used to be shy, I tell you that. I used to be shy, but no. Going to Rangers games brought me out myself. It brought my dad out to shell and all. I don't know what to say about that one, but there you go. Anyway, I'll let you go and get more callers. Take care, guys. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye, Amanda.
Oh, brilliant. Darren, in you come on, Kent.
Aye, Gary, just on your point, obviously when you say what game do you drop him for, I would drop him for the Kilmarnock game, play right in there.
The only thing, mate, is there's a lot. The way Rangers play, the system they play is very technical, out of possession. You have to know your position and what zones you need to be in, and you don't. It's not just a case of throw him on. He's a flair player. He's up front, defending doesn't matter. That's not the way Rangers play. If Kent doesn't do his chasing back and cover the zones that he's asked to cover, it leaves gaps. And if young Wright's not up to speed, we're doing that quickly in the transition, it can work against you. So I don't know if he's quite. It's all right in the last 20 minutes to throw him on if you're needing a goal like we were the other day, because you've got nothing to lose. But to start a game and asking a young boy to do that, who if he makes a mistake and the players who do know the system and have been doing it for 2 years look at him and go, it could go against them. Do you know what I mean? So I think you need a wee bit more time. But I think that's maybe where Zungu's struggled a wee bit, because it takes time to learn that, especially in that position that he's asked to cover the fullbacks when they get forward. So that's my point, is when do you throw him in? Young Wright's going to be some player. from what I've seen in his attacking prowess. But as a Rangers player, working for Gerrard and the system we play goes deeper than just what you can do with the ball.
I take your point in that one.
I don't think he'll drop him on Saturday, Gary. Sorry, Darren, because he'll go with his tried and tested. It'll be who he goes with centre forward. That's the decision to make, and whether he plings Aribo forward to where Hadji played, or he keeps Hadji in the team. That's the decision he's got to make. You know, I think Kent will play on Saturday personally. Thomas.
We still talking about Kent. We're on about. See Kent. I just think, we all managers have got a favourite player, right? Every man, and they always take him away. If they're going to another club, they'll take, all right, but that's my favourite. I'm going to take him away. That's definitely Gerrard's man, I think. And Gerrard will just, and I don't blame him for picking him, because you would pick him every week. But a day, I think there's a guy, I don't know what guy said earlier there, maybe should drop him just. And I know they're not going to do it now. They wouldn't do it against Kilmarnock. And I do feel as if he's just going to play until maybe the season's wrapped up. But he does deserve to maybe just sit one game out and then come back, and I don't know, maybe we'll see a wee refreshed players coming back again. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. And I absolutely love him. I love. He's a cracking. He's a steady, skillful player. The only fault I've got with him to know is he shots at goal.
Poor, wasn't he? Poor.
By the way, if we're being honest, mate, we can say that about all our team the last.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, but he
in front and goal.
I think there's an expectation from Kent to put a couple of goals away when they're on there. You could see some of the ones in, just him and the keeper, bang. And it's a side net, and the keeper saves it. It's pretty poor. However, I love him. I love him to bits. He'd always been my team.
I think that triangle of Kent, Kamara and Barisic, when they play well, they shows what they can do. They're all football players. I think that'll play in the left-hand side of the park on Saturday, because I think he'll go back as much to his tried and tested, mate.
I think we'll won quite easy. I know guys have been talking there about. I think we find it hard against Commander because obviously the new manager put in. I think we'll beat them quite easy.
I hope you're right, Thomas. And you come, Darren, on that point about the left-hand side. I just don't think I'm with Gary, but I think we'll see right on Saturday. But I think Kent will start. Yeah.
Mixed things right now, obviously, with the guys, obviously different opinions, but it's just, when you see Kent, he is quick and he is, and obviously we Wright, when you Wright might not get his back as quick, he's obviously been doing it. They've been doing it for 2 years, but I would certainly, maybe trap him and it might give him a kick up the backside to kind of go, hold on a minute. I might not be doing it wrong. Obviously, when you say Gerrard, he's his golden child, but I would certainly maybe give him a wee drop and see what he might go, right, I need to kick in here or kick on and be better.
A wee tester for the boys on the phone tonight. We're going to have a tune. Can you go on mute? Put your phones on mute so you don't interfere with the tune, Gary. There's a wee hint for you. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did last night, by the way.
Yeah, you did, yes. I've been barred for less. Yeah. Depends on the tune it was played. Right, get yourself some mute. We're going to have a tune. Well, thanks for that, Fox. Old school blue.
That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like a wee toe tapper.
Oh, absolutely, boy.
I'm a sing along, man. I know you. I've heard you before the show. I don't know if Southside's up to your standard, Bridge.
Oh, dear. I think he's a top man. That's what I think. He's a Perry Como type.
Perry Como. Remember Ben Donegan? I mean Val Donegan.
Ben Donegan. Love it.
I was like that.
Right, where were we? We've got to look forward. I mean, obviously, we're waiting to see if. Well, obviously, there was an announcement came out yesterday for Club 1872. I don't know if anybody's followed that, Bridge. Have you picked up on that in the last days? They're looking to put £2.5 million into the club. I know that's not a lot of money to you, Bridge, but to some of us bears, that's quite a bit.
I think a couple of people asked the question of it. Are you sure it's for Rangers or is it for Dave King? Is this to do with it?
This is going straight to the club, mate. This is
right. Okay.
Part of them taking up a share.
The shares.
Primarily the shares after Dave King. Yeah. Two different. They've got two different.
That's right. I just a couple of people. I saw a couple of people ask if it's definitely separate from the Dave King thing, and then they obviously quite liked what they were saying. Because the more money we can get into the Rangers, the better. Of course, everybody knows that.
This is obviously they're looking to maybe the shareholders, existing shareholders, the big hitters like yourself, and that. They're trying to take up the slack for the pandemic, Southside.
I agree, mate. I'm just trying to scrape together my Gers money for this season coming. I heard the announcement, mate. Obviously, it's for the share issue coming up for the club. And I suppose if there's any Rangers fans out there that like the idea of Club 1872, then obviously, if they can afford it, mate, it's something that they should maybe do and put in, since it's going directly into the club. But like I say, it's everybody's own choice, and during this pandemic and the sort of world we're living in now, if people can afford it, I'm sure they'll, and I think it's the right thing to do for them, I'm sure they'll do it, mate. But for everybody else, it'll just be up to every individual person, mate, how they feel into it at the time.
Sometimes I feel as if you're kind of obligated, you know. Sometimes you feel as if you're obligated to take up the cudgel for Club 1872. My personal opinion is whatever I'm going to do has got to suit me first, me and my family. So whatever we're going to do it, and it's going to Club 1872 is nowhere near what I'm
That's what you fought in that campaign for 39 to 45, so we could
Absolutely. Up in the air as well, I'll tell you, boy.
A bridge too far.
A bridge too far.
You know, but look, we would love somebody for Club 1872. Well, there's an open invitation to them to come on here and tell us what they're trying to do and speak to literally thousands of bears who are maybe interested or maybe not interested in what they've got to do, but it will only be negative for them because they'll get a hearing. So there's an open invitation for anybody at Club 1872 Bridge. We can't be fair on that, can we?
No. You cannot. No.
Darren, in you come, mate.
I like the idea of the 1372. You know, 1872. Sorry. I quite like the idea of that. So how do you go about donating to it? Is it online or?
You just sign up online, mate, and you become a member, and you pay. You have a monthly. You can have different.
It's a monthly fee.
Or monthly fees, depending on how much you can afford. You might put in £18.72 a month, and Bridge puts in £18,720 a month.
Or I could put in £16.90 a month. It just depends on it.
I don't know.
That's a good number. Also, that's a good number.
But what that does is obviously it's a vehicle for you'll be by helping purchase the chairs and for Club 1872 for the give them more power and more influence in the club. And some people on here are individual shareholders, Southside.
Aye, mate, I'm an individual shareholder, mate. I go to the AGMs and stuff. but that was my own choice for that and the family, for the shares and that. So, but like I said before, it's positive for the club. But it'd be nice if somebody would come on the show and speak to the fans and explain it a bit better. Because there is people out there that maybe no catch everything that they're actually wanting to explain it. There's Darren there wanting to know how he does it, and we're trying to help him, mate, and say go into the club and register. So it'd be good if somebody did come on, mate, and speak to everybody that listens to the show, and then people then can obviously think, right, I might be able to afford to do that, and that's something I'd like to do,
That's good, Southside. Are you involved in that kind of side of it then?
No, mate, I've just got my own shares that I've had, so I'm just an individual shareholder to myself, so it's, but it just lets me go to the meetings, mate, and go to the AGMs and stuff and hear what the club's saying. But as in any influence that doesn't matter. My shareholding's not an influence in the club, mate, but it gets me a vote when we go to vote.
I think Bridge is just a couple of shares behind Dave King. He's got about 180,000. Listen, I don't know about Gary or Thomas, but I know there's 3 individual shareholders on here, so Club 1872 are more than willing to come and speak to us. Gary, any thoughts?
I think, I know a little bit about the 1872 movement. I think on the face of it, it sounds like it's something that all Bears should really be behind, but we need to know more about it, the ins and outs. I think that if there's a fan representative on the board that, can not be swayed, cannot be voted out, I think that can only be a positive thing for the club going forward long term over the next 20, 30, 40 years, because we don't know what the future holds, and the last thing we want is vermin that were on the board, before Dave King and that came in, Lambias and the like, to be there ever again. And that's what an 1872 representative would be able to try and combat. And that can only be a good thing. But that costs a lot of money. And in order to get that position...
Also got to look at corporate law, mate. It's not that easy, mate. You can't just come at a board meeting and just go to the press and just spout, mate. There's a lot of corporate...
No, I know that. A lot of things have to be... No, I was reading up about that as well, mate, about what can and can't be released, obviously, because you can't influence the stock market with certain press releases and stuff, and that's where you're having to trust. You're putting your trust in a representative from 1872. Say that again, mate.
An organisation to pick the right person, no?
Yes, yeah. And if you're not happy with it, then you vote with your feet and you leave that organisation. But that's where the organisation has to come in, Ox, and talk to the people and get them on side, because they can't expect Bears to go and find out the information themselves. Sometimes Mohammed has to come at the mountain, and they have to come and speak to us and get. And the fact that they haven't, I think I've heard the girl from 1872 talk once, and she was actually on a podcast on YouTube talking with Dave King, and it was quite good to listen to. But I don't know enough.
Can I come in on that, Alex?
Yes, mate, of course.
The people from 1872, most of the AGMs that I've been at, they come in, since they've been formed, they come in and ask a number of questions at the AGM, which are very good questions, and the people that are asking them are very good Rangers fans. I've got nothing against 1872. It's purely a personal thing with me. I want to do my business with my club on its own. That's me.
All right, there's pluses and minuses for me. Nobody's... I've got my individual thoughts, but I would still love to hear from them so that they get a platform to talk to Bears. That's what we're saying. Talking about Bears, talking about people who are just below Bridge in the monetary stakes. We've been joined by Bob J. Evening, Bob J.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Hello.
Hi, Bob J.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right? I'm just back into the shop. It's cold on the women's hair out there. Aye, just listening to what you were saying there. I mean, anything that that ensures the financial, as Gary says there, anything that ensures the financial long-term stability of the club. Yeah, fine. I don't know anything about this club 1872. Obviously, I've read about it in the paper. and I'd like to know a wee bit more about it. If I can scrape a couple of quid together for to donate to it, well, good and well. The more the merrier, as it. So, but getting back to what you're saying there about players, with Ryan Kent, Ox and Lighton, if Ryan Kent's played every game this season, am I right? I'm sure he has.
I think
You're fine, I'm sure he has.
If you give me a couple of seconds, mate, I'll tell you exactly what he's played this season, mate. Just if you
can I come in with a really important point quickly before I forget about it? Right. So, when Craig White had our club, right, our club went to the wall for £8 million. £8 million in unpaid PAYE and VAT and tax, right? That was it. That's what our club went to the wall for. Now, one of the things that Celtic fans say that really, really annoys me is the fact that they say we let our club die, right? Because that is not the case, right? The reason the club are here and still exists is because of the fans. Now, we all know that if the club had came to the fans in double quick time and said, we need £8 million, they'd have raised double that, right? But they didn't. So, and it's all because of what was happening with Craig White and the likes, right? And what was going on at the club. See, if 1872 had existed, if 1872 had existed back then and sat on the board, right? 1872 would have had them million sat there. And as an organisation, they could have turned around and said, there's the £8 million. And that would have totally nullified that whole situation. And then Craig White's handling of the club as chairman, he'd have been gone because he had failed as chairman. And the club would have had change. That's what 1872 brings to the table. Is it brings
potentially, for takeovers and all that. You're there.
No, that's a good point.
You're right, mate. But listen, mate, I'm a simple man. The clue was in the name, mate. Green and white. That should have told us everything we needed to know.
That should have told us everything. I mean, see that point you're right. I mean, I'm not a man of economics, as I've said on the show before. I'd rather just watch around your six centre and put the ball in the back of the net. But at the time, I remember Alistair Johnson saying that the club was running on a figure of £18 million in debt. I don't know, as I say, but that wasn't a lot to a club in the magnitude of Rangers. And if we'd have qualified for the Champions League that year, we got beat with Malmo. Remember that, lads? If you'd have qualified for the Champions League that year, that could have wiped that debt. I didn't care anything about share she's getting introduced or anything like that.
Bob, a lot went on back then, right? And it's a really deep subject. It's a really deep subject. But see on the face of it, right? No, but see really quickly, right? The club had the big tax case from the EBTs, which was a lot of money. It was 80 million. That's still no resolve now. They can't make up their mind whether it's right, wrong, and different, whatever, right?
I've got a simple view on that, Gary. If we've made on EBTs, remember, there's a certain club for other parties. City had
Juninho, I know that. But remember, my point is that
what happened was, I've got my own views on EBTs and whether you think they're morally right or whatever, but at the time, they were 30 mile an hour. And then about 10 years later, the taxmans came along and said, by the way, you can only drive on this road for 20 mile an hour, and everybody that's drove at 30 mile an hour is going to get a fine. That's ultimately what it done to us.
Change the rules halfway along the road. But Ox, my point is that big tax case was not what put Rangers to the wall. It wasn't the fact that they were in debt with Lloyds. It was a whole host of things, right? But what sent Rangers to the wall was the £8 million that Craig White didn't pay in taxes. End of, full stop, exclamation mark, that's it.
You've got to pay your taxes, mate. You've got to pay. The other case, that's immediately. We were party victims of a fraud, but look, I told you the clue was in the name, green and white. That should have told us everything, Southside.
Mate, it's one big scenario. The press is a life out of everybody, but we know what happened. And Gary, you're technical. You're right in what you're saying. But it was just. It just escalated and then it just got invented into all this money. And we know the way it all developed and who spun the stories and how everybody on Radio Snyder at that time was a tax expert and all that. So, but see now, we're in a brilliant place. We've got the right people in the boardroom level. We've got the right manager in place. We've got the right backroom staff. We're growing the business. We've got rid of Ashley. So Everton,
here.
And that's the way we've got
here as well.
We're about five wins away from being champions. You know, look, Merck, I mean, it's for where we were. Like we're saying, for when you're talking about there, Gary, to where we are now, you know, Everton's on the up, mate, and it can only get better. James Bidsgrove's in there getting his contracts with good companies, and there's a lot of people now wanting to put money into Glasgow Rangers Football Club. That's the thing. So the now, for me, Everton's in the positive, guys, and that's the way I see it now.
Yeah.
Well said, sir. Yeah,
We're talking
that's
to
well
Bridge.
said.
We're talking to Bridgeman to see if we can get him to open up his wallet.
Can I just say, on the news over the last 2 days was those two representatives of Rangers during the sort of the wind up, and it was a
This
as
is
a
the
wind up.
Vodafone voicemail service for
These two guys have just been told they're going to get £18 million between them. £18 million between them.
10.5 each, mate.
10.5 each. It's up to over 20. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. What about my club? Was anything done to my club? Absolutely. Lots done to it.
What's that story? Run that past me again.
The two administrators who come in, yeah. What's the word?
What? Phelps, Duff and Phelps?
Yeah,
Duff and Phelps,
yeah, 10.5 million out they've won in a court case, mate, because of the illegal prosecution, yeah. Some big questions.
Right, I didn't know about that.
That's
big questions have got to be asked of the Scottish Government, mate. That's about a fifth of the budget for legal budget that some of them have got, mate, something like that. You know, they spend about 100 million and that's 21 million disappeared to two individuals as compensation because somebody's not done their homework. Unbelievable.
See, just on that, right? I don't know how many.
Let's move away. We're just waiting on a caller coming in. But listen, Southside, it would be great if somebody for Club 1872 there's Bob Deere come in, Darren come in. The two of them are no shareholders. They've said they're interested. They're not saying they're going to sign up, but what they're saying, they want to hear what the people have got to say. Good platform for them, eh?
Aye, it is, mate. And like you said, Darren phones in. We don't know anything about Darren apart from he's a Rangers fan. And he's just said tonight he might like to get involved. And then we know Bob Deere, he's on quite a lot now. And we like Bob Deere, cracking guy, always knowledgeable. And there he's thinking there might be something he'd like to do. As long as if we could get somebody on, mate, and they could explain it and what they're looking to do going forward, how much it will cost, what's the minimum, and what, if you want to put in a bit extra, what can you make it up to? Explain what they're trying to do going forward. You know, to secure the club. You know that. We know that. But if there's any extra, I'll convince people, mate, that if they can afford it to join it, mate, it'd be good to hear somebody come on and explain it.
All right, we've been joined by Fox, mate, who sneaked in the boys' gate. Evening, Fox. How we doing, mate?
Evening, lads. Can I just talk about the 1872 thing?
Yes, of course, mate. You're welcome.
I think 1872 is a good vehicle for supporters to put money into the club. But I think they've overcommitted themselves by promising to buy Dave King's shares over a short period of time, plus put money into the club. I mean, everybody knows that Dave King came in and saved the club. He must get his shares and his money back for what he's invested in the club. I just think that looking at the short term, this year was so important for the club to win the title and probably get a crack at the Champions League. I think the people at 1872 should concentrate on doing their thing of putting money into the club. And I think the board should now step back and try and find ways to reduce the debt. It's not really debt, but to pay Dave King back and maybe bring in a couple of new shareholders to help with the load at the top of the club. And that would be a great benefit to everybody because Rangers supporters are tore all over the place just now. We cried out for a company like Castor to come in with merchandising, and they have come in and done it. It's expensive, but it's good. But the fans are posed with problems of merchandise from all over the place being sold online.
What do you mean, Fox? Give me some explanations of what you're
Well,
talking about.
there's millions of choices, mate. You can buy old strips, new strips, scarves, badges, mugs, everything. Now, I can't tell people how to spend their money. But if you're putting your priorities first, the money must go to the club to get ourselves.
The Rangers aren't going to do that. The fans are going to do that anyway. The fans are going to.
I'm not saying I can tell anybody what to spend their money on. What I'm
the
saying
fans are going to spend the money on. The fans are going to spend the money on the club.
Thomas.
But it's money directly into the club. It was the same case for years, where the people that sold scarves and badges outside Ibrox, they paid money to Glasgow District Council and sold their wares, and nothing went to the club. I thought we were past all that when Castor came in. We had a vehicle to buy merchandise and give the money to the club. It's just that I just feel sorry for the fans just now, because it's a hard time and going through COVID. Some people have got money, some people haven't, and the wrong time to try and start up a big surge for 1872. They need a longer time frame, maybe over 10 years instead of 45 years, to help them draw in the money to support the club.
But there's a lot of issues there, Fox. A great question. I'm going to take some of that to Southside in a minute. So what you're saying is the blue pound's a blue pound, and it can only be cut up into so many pieces. And if everybody's taking a bit of that piece and none of it's going to Rangers because they've all got their own agendas, it's been cut too thin. When merit should go to Rangers, is that the point you're making, bruh?
We all know we nearly lost our club, mate. And during the dark times, we shoved out the spivs out of Ibrox. And it's about time that the supporters help the board, who are trying their best to get everything covered, give us a good team on the park, improve the facilities. All Rangers money, our fans' money, from my point of view, should be channelled into the club and the club only.
All right, okay. Yeah, Southside.
I can agree with what Fox is saying. I mean, Dave King done a deal with 1872 and the promise that you give them the shares to get the money back. I thought it is quite a short space of time, especially now because we're in a pandemic and we've got to come out of it at some point. And there's people out there still don't know when they might open their business or start a business and stuff. So this could go in another 9 months for all we know. And we know we're getting vaccines, but then the economy's going to recover. So people might have lost their job and stuff when they're trying to actually generate money. As a club doing a share issue, I thought the club would. My impression of it was going to be done just by most of the board of directors that were going to be buying the share issue and maybe attract another investor or two. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but that was the impression. So obviously then Club 1872 has now got a chance to buy in and they're looking for supporters like us. And I'll be honest, guys, see when you're renewing your season ticket and you've been going to watch Rangers over the years, you go to your European games, be desperate and you buy your stuff, obviously now because Ashley's out the club, but it is a lot of money for us supporters. We're all ordinary people. We all love the Rangers. But it is a lot of money every year on year to put money into a club to watch Rangers. So I just think, like you're saying, in these times it is a big push for $2.5 million. I think they need. So I think if people have got it, Fox, people will probably dip in. There is people out there that don't know about it, like we've heard tonight, so they might be interested in trying to help out and going forward and getting the money into the club, because I understand that's the most important thing. So I just think if they come on and explain it, mate, and then we get the full picture of what they're trying to do, even long term, over the next 5 to 10 years, and explain a plan of what they're looking to do, and include Dave King getting his money back or whatever way they're doing that, then I think people then might think, right, I could probably afford £20 a month. It is £20 a month. I might be able to afford that. And it's for a long time, so you've got to factor that in as well. So, mate, I think you're right, Fox, in what you're saying. All money, if possible, should be channelled into the club. If you can afford it, and that's the way it should be done, I think, mate, to help keep the club afloat, especially in these times as well. We get no supporters in.
Just a 5-year period, Suicide, to let the club get itself totally back on its feet, and then we can go ahead and supporters can do whatever they like. You know, that's all I'm thinking. Yeah, that's my own personal opinion. It's not the opinion of Rangers Radio or anything like that. You know?
It's you, Fox, but you're also saying, Fox, if I pick you up right here, mate, and I'll take this to Gary, then Bridgeman, what you're saying is, at the moment, if you're buying a scarf, don't buy it outside the ground. Go to the club shop and buy it, so that 12 quid or whatever it is, that goes to the club. Is that the point you're also trying to make, Fox?
Or even, I mean, everybody, I buy scarves as well, mate, and even out the shop and all that. And what do you do? I never wear half of them. I've got a cupboard full of them, mate. But you do it when you're at the park, just for the sake of putting a couple of quid when you could do it. I mean, I've done it for years and years and years, long before we get into trouble. And now I just think that as a support, we're trying to all come together as fan groups and fan media on social media. And it's about time the club comes first and everybody else takes a back seat and every penny gets channelled into the club just till we hit that break-even point, and then everybody can go back to doing whatever they were doing.
I'm keeping away for the fan media online, man. I'll take the Fifth Amendment on that one. Gary, and then Bridgeman.
In an ideal world, guys, it's not just scarves and stuff. You know, you got just like when you go to the games, you're walking up Edmondson Drive, or you're coming out, the underground, or your approach, whatever way you approach. Now, there's burger vans for miles, isn't there? And everybody buys their burgers and stuff before they go into the stadium. Whereas when you're in the stadium, you buy a pie. It's expensive, but I know it's outsourced. I think that the catering's outsourced, but it's
crap, Harry. It's also crap.
Aye, you get more value for money outside the stadium. What people want is value for money, right, and convenience. And if Rangers can tick them two boxes, they'll make the money. If they can give people value for money and convenience, they'll make the money. If Rangers can't step up to the plate and offer them two things, then it's they can't get the money for nothing, is what I'm saying. They get that in respect to the fact that we're fans and we're going to give them money for a season ticket. But we've got to see good football and us challenging for titles and trophies. They're going to get money for the strips, but they have to be good quality and they have to last. But if they want the money elsewhere, they have to show, quality, value for money, and convenience. And if they can do that and think of ways to do that, and that's their job as a club, they do that, they'll get their money. That's it.
Man, so you've got to work on your customer service. Yeah,
basically. It takes you half an hour to get it does. See, if you go to the game, you will have to leave about maybe say 10 minutes before half time just to get down and rush down and just to get a pie and bovril or whatever you're wanting. And that's just the other way we do. We go 10 minutes before, or sometimes obviously miss a goal, but we'll go down just to do that. And that guy's right. Seaver's just a wee bit more and maybe quality and quantity. I think Rangers would do well in that. I really do.
There's loads of things you can.
They need to do. You know what they need to do? Yes. See, in these, what do you call them, where they go and buy the food and the betting shops there and everything. They're brilliant areas. I'm not that sure they're spot on for what we actually want. Can I just ask? See the new Edmondson Club. Is that going to hold? Is that going to hold the big shop?
Yeah.
Within it. So we want the fans only need to go into the Edmondson Club. They can have a pint or do whatever it is they're going to do, and then go to the shop and buy the gear. That will put money straight into the club. 100%.
Yeah. 100%. Totally agree.
It's a match day experience. I think that's the point that Gary's making. Improve the match day experience, make the quality of the food better. Thomas is making the point that you want to make the service better. These are all things that can be looked at once we get our horns on it, because it's outsourced at the moment.
Yeah, agreed.
Darren,
can I come back in for a second?
your name's Gary. Darren, that should be told. Yeah. Darren.
Yep.
Match day experience, pies, everything, buying scarves. It's a whole part of going to the game.
Yeah, definitely. I go with obviously Gary's point that when you're coming off at Emerson Drive or walking down, whatever you're going to do, and you've got right along that road, you've got burger vans all the way along. Fans are going to go there rather than obviously going to the stadium and
it's rubbish in the ground. The food's rubbish. Yeah.
Yep. But
50 yards away from you, somebody's sitting having a lovely meal with decent pies. Southside, help me out. It's true, isn't it?
Aye, mate, it's 100% true. I know I don't usually get burgers that in the way in, but I could because I pass the burger vans that are sitting there. But I think something like, I remember it when I was about £7.50, and that's a meal deal they give you at Ibrox, and it might be a steak pie, a packet of crisps, and a drink. It used to be a bar, but sometimes they took one of them away. And then it's £7.50, so if you're going there and you've got a couple of kids with you, that then turns into 20 odd quid, nearly 23 quid. And then you're talking about you can get that burger van outside and you can buy a burger and get a drink and you'll be half the price. No, it'll be a lot cheaper, and it is better, mate, because I have tried the odd steak pie or pie at Ibrox, and to be honest, mate, you're right, it is outsourced and the stuff isn't very good. So they need to smarten that up, definitely. And there's a couple other wee things that they could do about Ibrox as they're doing now. I remember we used to have tellies in the main stand and they've took them away. So when they're showing a replay or showing you the big screens, where I sit, I can't see the screens. So they used to have the tellies up there and you could see the replays, see the big screens when stuff are on. They've took them away for whatever reason. So I would like them back. It sounds silly just because it's a telly, mate, but you could get to watch the replay of the goal when they were showing it on the big screens, the same as it. They're showing even the ceremony of the Loving Cup. They're showing that on the big screens. I've got to go out my seat and get down the bit of the main stand to sit and stand and watch it. So it's just a wee thing, mate, but it's a match day experience for the supporter.
One of the things we're talking about guys with loads and loads of experience. We've been joined by Jim from Paisley. Evening, Jim.
Good evening, all.
How Jim?
How you doing, guys? Listen,
how you doing, Jim?
How you doing, Bridgeman? Yeah, Bridgeman.
Yes,
before I go any further, I went for my vaccine on Sunday.
Your vaccine? And?
Okay. I went to the... It used to be called the SECCC, but it's called something else. A woman's name.
Is it not that female's name?
That's a woman's name, right?
I can't remember her name, but that's what it is, SECC.
I think Louisa Jordan.
That's it, Louisa Jordan, buddy. Well done. So you went there?
What I've seen this, man, the queue is like... It's like a queue for the ghost, so you don't know where you're going to get on under. The queue with them round corners and all that.
Oh my goodness.
It's been a long time since you've been on the ghost train.
Talking about ghosts. You're talking about scarves and that. I'm going to see a scarf I've got to do. It cost me 14 and 6, and I've still got it. I bought it in Rossi's stores in Pollock in 1970.
Is it the blue with the... Is it the blue with the red?
I still got a radio on it. And the crest.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jim. I got a message today from somebody, and he's trying to buy... When you hear this, Jim, you can't get them anywhere. Rangers pyjamas, and we don't want second hand. We want new ones, right? Rangers pyjamas for a 6-year-old Wayne, and can't get them anywhere. So anybody out there knows where you can purchase Rangers pyjamas for a 6-year-old Wayne, get in contact with...
I'll look into that tomorrow.
The show, or let us know, mate, because he wants to purchase them ASAP. He put a young Wayne on the right road.
The right road,
Right, Jim, but yes, mate.
Before I forget, I want to go back to talking about the quality of the food inside Ibrox, right? See, when you outsource something, right, you lose all control over it. See, when I served in the armed forces, right, I joined up in 2000. We used to get, if we stayed on camp, right, we used to get money taken straight out of our wage to pay for your food, whether you ate it or not, right? And then people used to get annoyed with that because like, I don't even eat in the galley, but I still get charged for it. So then, about 4 or 5 years later, the military done away with that. And what they said to people, you'll only get charged when you go in to the actual galley, the actual place to go and eat, the food hall. But they outsourced it to Sodexo, right, who are a massive catering company, and it's probably the catering company that are at Ibrox.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Right, my point is that... No, but my point is once they've done that, the standard of the food they're doing, because that company's only interested in making money. Rangers need to bring it back in-house if they want to get the money out of people and get people buying it. Anyway,
I think Oxford said tonight that there's people that are only interested in the Blue Pound. Simple as that. They're not really bothered about the service they have.
We've got the historical contracts bridge, and hopefully we can sort them out. Bob J, I know it's not something, the economics isn't your game, but it's very important we get it right to support the club.
Absolutely. What I was going to say is the Rangers, at the end of the day, we are a football team, and internally with the playing staff and the managerial staff, we appear to have got it right. 5 wins off a championship, with a probable chance of qualifying for the Champions League, or depending if we do qualify for the Champions League, that will solve a lot of financial problems. Well, no problems. I'll give you a lot of financial answers. Am I right? Because that's the promised land for every football team. Because they're spending, there are people all over Europe are spending absolute fortunes to try and get into it. We've got a chance to get in it. So, as far as the playing side goes, yeah, grab it with both hands. But I do agree with you about the food, about the product, inside Ibrox. Oh, Christ. I bought a pie there one day, went out the back door on a Sunday, broke the wind and nearly landed in Kinross. I agree with what you just said. But, yeah, that's a thing for the club to tackle. And Gary, you're right in everything you're saying, son.
Shocker.
I know, but I'm getting worried about you about money, by the way. I'm going to get you a house and cow and beef. But no.
Don't you worry about me. It's that Oxford.
I'm only kidding. I know, Paul.
I can come out to there if you'll subsidise me, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah, I know. You taste the pies there, by the way. Anyway, Rangers only to get it right. As you say, get the product right, get money coming in and get the club back on a stable foot. And Fox was exactly right what he said. If you're going to buy stuff for the Gers, buy it and give it to the club.
And the boys that have come in on the board, and I'll go to Southside, then Fox with us, the boys that come in with the board, they've had to fight a lot of fires. And I've got to
a hell of a lot.
Southside, and they've done a good job, let's be honest about it. So hopefully eventually they'll get to the pies and all the other stuff that, but they can't do everything all at once.
No, aye, mate, 100%. They've had a lot to deal with in the background, and they're probably still dealing with other stuff that we don't even know about, but we've probably heard about. But the new, we're only saying because we're talking about when we go to Ibrox, and if they were wanting us to buy the product in the food stalls and that, we would like it to be a lot better. I mean, don't get me wrong, you go to your girl house and you go up there and you get your food that's lovely. You sit in there, so they've got that right, part of it right at the moment. From when I've been up in that, I've never had a problem. It's been lovely any time I've been in the place. So, but I agree with everybody agrees on here, mate. The product in the pie stalls in time will hopefully get better. Obviously, there is an outsource there, and I believe it's somebody that we should probably, hopefully in time, we'll get rid of, and then we'll get somebody in that will probably get it right. So there's a lot bigger issues, mate, to fight. And like we say, we're going for this league, and then hopefully we get into Europe next season, into the Champions League, where we've been starved of that type of money, mate. So if we get in there,
exactly,
that projects our club again, and the board will be delighted. We get to see is hopefully playing in the Champions League next season, and that's what we've got to look forward to, mate. Win this league first, and then hopefully we've got that to look forward to in the summer once the league starts back, mate.
Fox, in the Wait a minute, and you come, Fox? You started the ball rolling with this, mate?
No, well, I think the directors at the moment who are sitting in place have done a fantastic job of producing money to cover the costs of which they have stacked up this season. It was, as I said before, it was a very important season for the fans and the club. It looks like we're going to be successful there. But at some time, these people will need their money returned, mate. Especially Dave King, as I said. I don't know whether the board should take it up themselves and bring in another couple of investors and then pay Dave King off with that, or Club 72 go for a realistic length of time to pay him back and gain his shares. Whatever way works best for the club and the support is all right with me.
Fox, can I say something? Can I jump in there, Fox? If you remember when Dave King was selling his shares to 1872, there was a time limit on this transaction. I don't know how long it's to go now, but it's not that long.
I said that, Jim. I think they went a wee bit too quick on the time, the length of time to pay it back, and
I think they were on 500.
Too big a target to hit right away.
At the time they were on 500 quid after investors just to buy Dave King shares. I can't remember how many shares he got. 20 million's worth, I think. But I can't remember how much shares he's got. But they were looking for maybe, I don't know, 40,000 fans to chip in 500 quid each within 2 years or something like that. I can't remember, folks. There's a wealth of we spoke about this. And I thought at the time, they're pushing this. This is before the coronavirus kicked in, right enough, obviously. Right? This is cool.
I mean, surely for every fan, the target is the day that we say that we're running in a profit, even if it's only 50 pence, mate. It'll be one of the biggest days for the support in years.
Well, I agree.
And that's the day that I want to see, where we're sitting running comfortably, all through the endeavours of the fans and the board and the team on the park earning cash, like say from Europe. And then we can all sit back and relax and push forward into a new time, you know?
Absolutely.
It's interesting times, Jim, and I think the point that Fox and the boys are making is there's a lots of different avenues. If we get the stuff right and everybody's gone to the game, they buy everything. If the scarves are the best quality, the best value that you can get, people will go and buy them out for Rangers. We've been joined by a caller. Evening, caller.
Hi, how are you? How are you guys?
How are you doing? What's your name, mate?
My name is Saf.
Saf, how are we doing, Saf?
I'm good, mate. I'm speaking from London, guys, but I'm actually a big Rangers fan, Glasgow born and bred. Been Rangers fan all my life, since the late 70s through the dark 80s, and obviously now more recently. I want to make a couple of points if I can, please.
On you go, mate.
What it is, as I said, following Rangers all my life, really interesting what's happening this year, clearly for many reasons. Clearly the 55 is very important to us, and that's obviously in our consent. Boys, the team's been playing great. But I want to make a couple of points. I'm pretty sure after the Kelly match, that's Rangers played 75% of their games, okay? And clearly the other teams will catch up. So whatever happens, people have talked about, leagues being stopped, COVID, all being well, the league will finish, and I want that to finish. But God forbid if it doesn't, and they have to follow the same precedent as they did last year when Celtic won the league. Hopefully that Kelly match means that if they do stop the league, Rangers will win the league based on a points per game basis anyway, assuming Celtic catch up and do their games in hand. I just want to put that out there, that we're very, very close to what happened last year with Celtic in that respect, okay?
Yep.
Hoping that won't happen. We win the league fair and square, unlike last year, and Rangers are crowned champions, as they will be. I'm very certain of that. Clearly the bookies think that. I think that it's been a great season. I've been watching all the matches consistently, and they're playing exceptional. Not only they've been winning, as we all know, they've been winning with great football, really imaginative dynamic, pleasing on the eye type football, playing on the ground, and doing amazing one-touch football. So that's great. And I'm hoping as well they have a great European run, because again, even though this year is very important, as we all know, for many, many reasons, this season is very important. 2021-22 Scottish League season could as equally be important. And I'll tell you why. Most of you guys will know anyway, because if the coefficient in Europe continues to do well, whoever wins the season after next will potentially get Champions League entry from day one. Okay, yeah. Especially if they reconfigure the Champions League setup as they're thinking about doing as well. So that, in terms of monetary value, is massive. That's a game changer in terms of if whoever is champions next season gets in directly into the Champions League group stages, and then obviously gets all that prize money. And that prize money is only going to go up because of what the UEFA and the super clubs, so-called super clubs in Europe, are trying to organise now. Obviously that's going to be a game changer in terms of monetary and money. Sorry.
Some great points there, mate. Smashing points. All right, can I just ask you a few questions, mate, before I take them to some of the guys? How long?
Sure, please.
How long you been listening to the show for, mate?
I've literally been listening a couple of days, mate. I follow a couple of Rangers, the Heart and Hard guys on Twitter. I follow them, and I follow Rangers FC clearly on Twitter. And I look at Twitter now and again. I don't type in Twitter because of all the toxicity. So I just came across you guys. I've been listening this evening while I came in from work, and you guys have done a great job. And I love the banter, the chat. It's good to see a Rangers in talk show sort of thing, dedicated to Rangers and about what's happening this season. As we know, we can't go to matches, we can't see our mates in around Ibrox or elsewhere, or the pubs or anywhere else. So we got to have some sort of other medium to communicate with.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
This is the place, son.
Sorry.
Southside, fair points with Saf there. Obviously, the question you would ask is who scored the goal when they won the league last year. They can't answer that, can they?
Exactly. I think it's still a disgrace. I still think it's shocking that more wasn't made of what happened last year, especially when, as we well know, the English league got their act together and finished it. And other leagues throughout Europe, and especially as we know as well, mate, the next game before the shut-off was the Rangers-Celtic match, if I'm correct, that Sunday, before they closed it. And as we well know,
take your points from the panel. You get some answers to your questions.
Okay.
Aye, he's pretty spot on, mate. Like you said earlier, Seth. It's like we said, we've been flying this season, mate. We've showed a lot of consistency. We dropped off. We know what happened after last New Year and that, and obviously the squad's learned. Gerrard's installed a bit more. They've learned for last season. We've got a better mentality. We started well. We went on a good run into Europe. We topped the group. The first team in Scotland. They topped the UEFA group.
Absolutely.
We're playing absolutely some great football. I had a couple of wee slip-ups in the league, but we just kept winning, and we've been winning since. We dropped off a wee bit of form, mate, I think. But at the end of the day, we're winning, mate, and we're close to 55 now. We know what's in sight, and it's just a case of taking the next game as it comes. We're looking for this year now, going forward the next few weeks, because we're pretty critical of our team at times. It's just better performances, mate.
I know, you're absolutely right.
And if we click, and like what a lot of people have said, if we play, we win. That's what normally happens. We're undefeated. I was more disappointed we lost a goal on Sunday. It wasn't the fact that I'd rather have it been nothing each, to be honest, mate, than it ended up one each.
I know, and the way we lost in the last 5 seconds.
It's just to concede a goal, mate, and try and get that record. There's a record out there that we could get in world football. I think Chelsea had it with 15 goals. So, but apart from that, mate, we're 5 games away from being champions, and then we're hopefully we'll win the league the following season. We've carried the coefficient, mate, for 2.5 seasons or 2 seasons anyway to get it to what it is. So Everton mate's positive about our club. We've got the right people in charge, right manager, right boardroom level, and Everton's looking rosy, mate. And as long as we just add next season and Stevie G will have a plan, board of directors and everything else will have a plan going forward, how much we'll spend and what will happen in the budget. And as long as we use it wisely, mate, we can win the next league and the league after, as long as we keep the
Absolutely, I have no doubt. I think this is a game changer. I can't stress enough. Winning this season obviously is important, but winning next season, then investing this summer for next season's campaign, I think we will do really well. And then obviously the Champions League money, once you get into that kind of space and you do well, Stevie G and the management team are so well placed to do well in Europe, as we well know, since they've come on board. Rangers have a really good European runs. And why not? Why can't we dream about some of these opportunities we used to get under Walter Smith and the European glory nights into the spring? Then why can't we look forward to these kind of nights and these kind of games? That's what we want. We've not had that, and I still get emotional about talking about it because we've had a lot of tough times in 10 years. We've had to put up with it. It's been tough, and good times are ahead.
Great points again, Saf. And you come, Gary B. Give us some thoughts, Saf.
I'm really interested. I don't know if any of you know, but there was an announcement today from UEFA about the new Champions League format that came out, about the new Swiss model, expanding it 36 teams. I don't like it. I think the way, since the Champions League came in, it's only benefited the big dogs at the top and kept them big. And actually, young kids nowadays, they think like Man United versus Barcelona is a big game, and we've been programmed to think that, little small teams like, days gone past, Barcelona versus Red Star Belgrade and all that, these amazing games of yesterday, gone. And it's spoiled football a wee way. This new way where teams won't even need to finish top of the league, they can finish 8th and still make it into the new Champions League format because of the coefficiency rating is mental. You need to go away and read that yourselves. I think it's the way it is, and if Rangers want to be at that top table in future, they're going to have to get their act together, because if you're not there at the start, it's going to be nigh on impossible to break into that.
Exactly, to get into that, to get into that kind of club sort of thing. I think my reading of it is, you're right, the top teams, even if they finish 8th or 9th, say Man U finish 9th next year, they might get into that Champions League because of their coefficient, and because of their status and their revenue generating power, and they're a star team. But the point there is, there will be a few teams, there will be a few kind of wild cards, so to speak, to get into that league. And I would love Rangers to be one of them, subject to clearly winning the league and all that. Because that, whatever you think about it, mate, I don't like it, you don't like it, but it's all about money. It's TV money, it's revenue. These clubs are skint. Look at what's happening in France. They can't even get it.
Well said, Saf. Listen, we've reached that time of the evening. Thanks, Saf. Great call.
Okay, no worries. Pleasure, mate. Good luck to everybody. And we pray every day for the success of Rangers, mate.
Take care. Good luck to you, son.
Well said.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
See you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Take care.
Sorry, what was that, Alex, there?
We've reached that time of the evening. I see what you've done there. I brought Saf in. We'll get Gary in. We're trying to get us a bit of overtime.
Great show, guys.
I think Saf drinks with a man.
Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant, man. Saf, you need to take a breath. Him and Amanda get out because we're on. Sorry, Amanda, sorry. Bridgeman, over to you.
Oh, what can I say? What a wonderful night. Once again, great conversations, great banter. Well done, Oxchair, and well done, everyone. Absolutely superb night, and well done to the technical team for supporting you. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here, on Rangers Radio, every single one is, please, I've got one sleep, I think, two sleeps and one nap. I can't remember what, but it will not be long till we're going to see the Rangers again. Saturday then. Okay, I'll keep making mistakes. So everybody knows I make mistakes, so I'm happy with that. So I'm looking forward to it. Everybody, please, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us. They really do. Keep it going.
Fair believe it.
And I think Saf and Amanda, who phoned in, a couple of shy individuals. Gary, Jim Fay Paisley always makes me laugh. Bob J, a legend. And of course, Thomas Fayersha. Thanks to Bridgeman and Darren, and
Thank
also
you.
Outside for taking part in the show.
Thank you.
And Fox and Old School
Thank
Blue.
you.
Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals, without which there wouldn't be a show. And I think when Fox came into the show, but they like to hear Fox speaking. Thanks for listening. We'll be back.
He's knowledgeable.
We'll be back tomorrow night with Young GB. Everybody, please stay safe. Speak to you tomorrow night between 8 and 10. Take it away, Old School Blue.
Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay. Won't you come and cheer us? Help the boys along. White and blue, coming through with a song. Oh, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay. We'll be there to do it, do it if we can. Win the cup, hold it up in our hands. Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay.